Hello guys, my name is Diego Pacheco and this is another Java video. So today we're gonna be talking about reflection, and I wanna show some techniques and basically how we can do two levels of reflection, one for the top class and the second level for the method. So often you want to do annotations and reflection for the top level when you sort of have like an abstraction you can do for the whole class, and you want to do more like a method level when that abstraction is specific to the method, or when it is a callback, which is the case I'm gonna cover. And we're gonna do that metadata processing, dynamic processing, all using Java, no external libraries, and we don't need to use aspects to do what we gonna do it, right? So let's get started. Okay, so I have an IntelliJ project here. Let's take a look on the project structure. So I'm using Maven to build this project, and as you can see here, I basically don't have any dependencies, just JUnit, but it's for testing, right? So no external dependencies, just Java standard SDK. And I have two annotations. So level one is this uppercase post to string annotation, where this is a type. The target is type annotation, meaning you're gonna put on like on a class level. And this annotation is more like a generic. When you add there, we're gonna call generic method that we're gonna get your toString and put it to uppercase, right? So you just put it at the class level and we know exactly what to do. This one is like the second level of abstraction, right? So this is the post-process toString, where you're gonna put this in a method. So the target type is a method, and what will happen is we're gonna call the method that you have this annotation, and with that we're gonna be able to do sort of a callback, right? So we're gonna call toString, and after toString gonna call your method that has this annotation, and then with that we're gonna be able to do some sort of a customization. Okay, so that's are the annotations. Let's take a look on the Pojo. So I have a pet here, a pet Pojo that has name and sex, empty constructor, full constructor, getters and setters, equals, hash code, and toString. And here you can see that at the class level we have a uppercase post toString, meaning we're gonna call toString here, and we're gonna get the result of toString and put it to uppercase, and all that's gonna happen just you having this annotation at the class level. And then I have the second level, which you're gonna apply on the second Pojo, which will be the person Pojo. And as you can see, there's no annotation at the class level. And here we have name, email address, active or not active user, and a list of interests. So we have empty constructor, full constructor, getters and setters, equals, hash code, toString. And we have a customized, like a callback method here, called toString post processing, where we're gonna add this annotation post process toString, and we're gonna receive a string, and we're gonna return a string. And here just logging showing that the method is executed, and we're gonna get the toString content and put it all in lowercase, right? So we're gonna do the opposite of the generic level 1. This is level 2, customizing callbacks. Now let's look on an engine that can understand this metadata programming, understand these annotations, and have custom behavior, right? So let's do that with logging. So I have a generic interface for a logger, where I have an invariant generic t, it could be whatever, and I have a log method where you pass t to me, and this is gonna be logged, right? And now the cool part, the implementation of the simple logger and also the main method, right? So let's jump here on the simple logger, all right? So every time you do reflections, you want to have cache, and I have two caches, all right? So I have a cache for the second level and for the first level. So the second level, remember, is a method that I want to cache. If that method has a specific annotation, I want to cache that method. Or I want to cache the class if that class has a specific annotation. So both keys of these caches are classes, right? And the values are for the level 2 is optional of method, right? And for the level 1 is optional of boolean. So here we're gonna have the method which we're supposed to call if there's any customization callbacks, and here we're just gonna have a boolean saying that class is cached. And you're gonna understand why I'm using optional here instead of the values itself, is because I have like 3 possibilities. I can either have a cache or no cache, right? But I could also have a third case, which is the first time I run. First time I run, what I want to do is populate the cache. And then always I want to use the cache, but I don't want to be calling reflection all the time. So that's why I sort of have always like 3 values. I have cached, not cached, or first time, right? And first time will be sort of a null, right, for me. And if it's not null, then either it's cached or not, right? And that's why I have optional. Then with optional, it's easy for us to figure out if we did this or not. And these are both concurrent hash maps, right? So this is thread safe code. So now let's look at the implementation of the log method, right? I'm gonna go over the overall flow, and then I will show specific methods that we have here, right? So let me try to fit the whole thing in the screen. Then I think it's a bit better to read. Now I think it's now we have like the whole method. So what happens here is like first thing we need to cache. Okay, I'm gonna start from level 2, then I'm gonna go for level 1. And the way I did this is because I decided that, if by any chances you have level 2 and level 1, level 2 will take precedence of level 1, right? So that's why I start with level 2. So level 2 is like you have a custom method we want to call, right? So I have this option of method, right? And that's our custom post processor. And what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna go to the cache of the post proc, right? The custom post processor. And I'm gonna do a lookup on that cache based on the class of the object that you are passing to me, right? So you pass an object from any type, and I look for that class. So we're gonna call it here, and then we're gonna look. Okay, so if this custom post processor is not null, right, and is not empty, it means we run this before and we know there is a custom processor and it's cached. So we just need to call it, and that's it. All right, and then I have a method that we're gonna go over in a moment called call custom processor, where I pass the object and the custom processor, right? And then we're gonna call the custom processor, and that's it. Okay. Otherwise, it really depends now, right? It really depends if we sort of have to process reflection or not, right? So let's say if we go here to process reflection level 2, all right, we're gonna check, all right, okay. By any means, is this not empty? All right, if it's not empty, it means probably it's null, and this is the first time I run. If it's the first time I run, I wanna go over reflection and see if there's any annotation there, all right, and then we're gonna get all declared methods of that class. And then we're gonna get an array of methods. We're gonna go over all that methods, and then we're gonna check if the method has an annotation called post process to a string. If that returns something different than null, it means it has that annotation. In the case it has that annotation, we found our custom processor, and then for that, I want to cache that. So we're gonna have an optional with value, and then we're gonna call the custom processor, right? I'm gonna show this method later on, and we're gonna return true, all right? Otherwise, this is we didn't find any custom processor, and I'm gonna return empty. And if I return empty, it means, well, don't bother even looking again if we have this value or not, right? Because I really don't want to continue process. I don't want to do reflection twice. I don't need to, right? and then we're gonna return false, all right? And if we return true, we get out of the execution, and we return false, we continue, right? So here we cover level 2. Now we're gonna go to level 1, and we're gonna use the cache for level 1. So we're gonna check, okay, by any means, does the cache for level 1 has the entry for this class, or is the value on that cache present, right? Is it true? If it's the case, we run this before and we have the cache, then we're just gonna call to uppercase because the class is marked to do that, right? Otherwise, we're gonna continue. And then we need to check, okay, is this the first time we are running this code? Because if it's the first time, this will be null, and then it will not be empty. And for that case, we want to process reflection level 1. So for process reflection level 1, we're going to do reflection on the class and look if the class has upper case post to string. If does has it, means will not be null. Then we want to cache that the class has this annotation level 1, the uppercase post to string, and we want to do the processing itself, which is call the to string and call to uppercase, and return true. Otherwise, we want to mark as empty because we don't want to do this reflection processing again, right? And we want to return false. So if this return true, then we get out of the execution. Otherwise, we go here and then just gonna print it because it means, well, whatever you're printing, I'm gonna just print as it is because you don't have any annotation, either level 1 or level 2. And the missing method I need to show is called custom processor, where we receive an object and a method, right? So I'm gonna call the original toString here from the object. And then what I'm gonna do, I have the method, I'm gonna invoke the method using reflection, passing the object that you are passing to me and passing the result of the original toString. And that method shall return a string for me. And then I'm gonna print that, all right? And that's what we have on a call custom processor. Now we have the main class. And here what we're doing here is like I'm creating an instance of the simple logger, right? And then I create a person and I log that person twice. And the reason why I do that is because we want to see the cache happening. And then I create a path and I'll also log it twice so you can see the cache happening. And here I'm logging like a string 3 times so we also can see what happens. So I'm gonna run, but also gonna debug this so we can see this working in action, right? So if I run it here, we can see that the generic post process is the printing here in lowercase, all right? And then we see path being uppercase because it has the level 1 annotation. And on the string, we don't see any difference, right? And because it doesn't have any annotations, right? So it works exactly as we expected. Everything is clear. You know that the simple logger is doing all the runtime manipulation, so it's no magic, it's no aspects, right? And you still can, eat the cake and have the cake. So now let's debug this, right? So you can see what I said in action, right? So now let's debug it here. Okay, so that's the first time you run. Do we have a cache for the Pojo person here? There's a Pojo person with my data, right? So do we have a cache for that for level 2? We don't, right? Okay, we don't. But do we need to, do reflection here? Well, let's check. Is this empty? No. Oh, if no, this is the first time. Indeed, it's the first time we're running. So let's look all the methods and see if we find anyone with post process to string. And we find it. Okay, then we're gonna cache that and we're gonna call it with reflection. And that's what we're doing, and it works. Now, if you continue the execution, we can see we're logging again with the very same thing. Okay, do I see this on the cache? I do. And then we are calling the cache and we return, right? Now we have a path. Let's see what happens. Okay, do we have the level 2 annotation here? No. Okay, is this first time running? Yes. Okay, so we need to look if we have that here. And string has lots of methods there, right? And not string, sorry, the Pojo, right? The string, you're gonna see how many methods there's there. But here, it's a pet Pojo. Okay, so pet Pojo doesn't have level 2. But do we have anything on the cache for level 1? No. Okay, but is this the first time? Do we need to... yes, it's the first time. Okay, so let's look the annotations, right? Do we have an annotation for to upper post to string? We do. Okay, so then we add on the cache and we log it. Awesome, and then done. But we are logging the path again. Okay, do we have the cache for the second one? No. Is the first time? No. Do we have on the second one the cache? We do. Then we return. But now there's a string. Okay. Do we have that on cache? No. Is the first time? Yeah. Okay, let's see if we find a notation. But now I'm gonna skip this because the string has so many methods, right? So hopefully I do the right jump here. Okay, and okay, do we have now the notation on the class? No, we don't have it on the cache, right? Is this the first time? Now, okay, nothing goes over here on these methods, meaning, okay, I don't have annotation level 2, I don't have annotation level 1, I don't have in a cache, right? So then I'm just gonna log it. And then we have the string again, and then now it's much faster, right? Because it's not the first time or anything, just go right away here to line 34, right? And then we can print it. Okay, so that's some advanced reflection in Java. I hope you guys like it. See you next time. Take care. Cheers.